We continue now with our great American panel. Okay, let's turn our attention now to Iowa. Ron Paul is either leading or he's in second place behind Mitt Romney. But what he's saying today is that if he wins in Iowa, it's going to give him momentum going into New Hampshire, and he could win New Hampshire, too. Sounds a little bit like Howard Dean's infamous, we're going to go to Arkansas and Florida, yeehaw. I don't know, but I find it hard to believe that even if he wins Iowa, Michael, that he can actually win New Hampshire.
If
I mean,
wins,
over Romney, even over John Huntsman, for crying out loud.
It's not Iowa, so goes the nation. If he wins Iowa, he'll get as far as to go to the low-rated face the nation. He is not going anywhere. I mean, this is his last hurrah. I used to think that Obama had an ego trip in terms of his first presidential campaign. These people were on a vanity campaign. You know, this guy talks about he's an isolationist. You cannot be an isolationist in a 21st century global economy. We have military alliances, we have treaties, obligations, we have trade agreements. So we can't be isolationist. So I think this guy is on his last hurrah, and goodbye.
You know what, Katie? That's the thing about Ron Paul. He's very good at explaining what led to the financial crisis. I think he's excellent on the Fed. He talks about cutting spending and reining in government. I agree with him on all of that, but he's got a lot of baggage. He's way out there on 9/11. All of these newsletters that have gone out in past years with his name on it that are anti-Semitic. And as Michael points out, he rejects American superpower. You cannot have a commander-in-chief in the 21st century that rejects American superpower.
Right. And, you know, he might win Iowa. I think we should take that into serious consideration. People said he couldn't, and he really might win Iowa. And if he thinks he can win New Hampshire, his supporters sure think that he can win New Hampshire. But going off of what you just said, you know, people want to hear about the economy. And what we've seen with the Newt versus Romney stuff is that people are sick of the candidates attacking each other. They really want to hear solutions. And Ron Paul has been able to present his economic solutions, which is what people are really concerned about.
What do you think about Ron Paul, Larry?
Well,
We're out there in the countryside. You're listening to people. He's got rabid fans.
Well, if this and if that, you know, if worms had pistols, birds wouldn't eat them. You know, a lot of ifs. And I loved Atlas Shrugged too, but there wasn't a whole lot in there, you know, in Ayn Rand's, you know, it's my favorite, about foreign policy. And with all due respect, it is, you hate to say naive, you know, about someone who is actually running for the presidency and is second in the Iowa poll.
So well,
but it's naive. I mean, what he said.
Michael.
What he said. That's
Michael Myers.
There you go.
Economic policies don't matter if you're dead, right?
So, okay, let me get a quick prediction from each one of you. Who do you think is going to prevail in Iowa? And then let's look ahead to New Hampshire, Larry.
Romney in New Hampshire, Gingrich in Iowa.
Gingrich in Iowa. Interesting.
Yep.
Katie?
I'm giving Iowa to Ron Paul. I said this a couple weeks ago. I'm going to say it now, but New Hampshire definitely is going to Mitt Romney.
He does have strong organization, Ron Paul, in Iowa. Michael?
I think Iowans will wake up. Wake up, Iowans. It goes to, Iowa goes to Mitt Romney, New Hampshire goes to Mitt Romney. And down the road, Mitt Romney gets the nomination, but he's the only serious candidate.
Because then you've got the aura of inevitability.
He's the only serious candidate. These other guys
right.
are too extremist.
Let's quickly change gears because Jimmy Carter, our 39th president, national treasure,
speaking of extremists,
sent a condolence note to Kim Jong-un, who is the successor now to Kim Jong-il, the mass murderer dictator of North Korea. Jimmy Carter sends this condolence note, giving him best wishes, I guess, for his dictatorship. Is anybody here surprised by this? Larry, are you surprised by this?
My wife/girlfriend. It's good when they're one and the same. It's good, less complicated when they're one and the same. She said, Larry, you must be respectful. However, I just, you know, this man has elevated doofusness to an art form and given, you know, peanut farmers everywhere a really bad name. I mean, good Lord, get off the stage. I voted for him, believe it or not.
I can't believe you're admitting that on national television.
But you understand the circumstances. That was while I was still snorting cocaine and drinking vodka. When I got sober, I said, I voted for who?
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, it was a long time ago.
Nobody
do that
stopped you? For God's sake, somebody should have gone into the voting booth with you and stopped you.
Yes.
Katie, we were talking about a dictator in Kim Jong-il, the son of the previous dictator, Kim Il-sung, who has killed millions of people, starved his own people to death, keeps gulags running, for goodness sakes. And this is a regime, the most isolated regime on earth, that rations electricity to the point where our satellites show at night South Korea lit up like a light bulb, China lit up like a light bulb, North Korea totally dark. Mark.
I'm just wondering when in this country we decided to start tolerating communism. That's a question I've been asking. And you know what? Maybe Jimmy Carter should go live in North Korea and see how it is if he really thinks it's such a great system. I was hoping he would say something like, now that this dictator is gone, hopefully North Korea can transition into a freer society. But instead, he's just going with the regime and hoping it stays the same.
That's a great point, Katie. This was an opportunity for, you know, I'd love to hear from George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, talking about how this is a moment, Michael, for both risk and opportunity in North Korea.
Ex-presidents and current presidents ought to have a moral barometer, and they ought to be able to speak up for freedom and individual liberty and speak against tyranny and against dictatorships. We need clarity, and especially in terms of morality and ethics. And I'm surprised and shocked, but not so surprised about Jimmy Carter, but he has been an extremist for a very long time.
I know. Well, guys, great to see you. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Happy
Thank
Hanukkah,
you so much
Merry
for
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Here. Yes, indeed. That's all the time we've got left this evening. Don't forget to check out my website, monicamemo.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Monica Crowley. Gatlin, get on the ball at Monica Crowley on Twitter. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Monica Crowley. Merry Christmas.